The government shutdown will stretch into its second week as federal workers become more anxious about when it's going to end. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
And I'm Kyle Clark. President Trump now says some federal workers don't deserve to be paid for their work during the shutdown. 9 News reporter Shalima Maharaj joins us. Shalima, that's certainly not what the law says.
No, a law signed by President Trump during his first term ensures that federal workers get that back pay. So his comments today have many federal workers nervous about what could happen next.
For the most part, we're going to take care of our people. There are some people that really don't deserve to be taken care of, and we'll take care of them in a different way.
The president is threatening to withhold back pay from furloughed federal workers.
It's another cruel and unjustified attack on the American workforce and federal employees.
Miles Batson works for the EPA, and he represents hundreds of workers in Colorado as part of the American Federation of Government Employees.
To face the specter of potentially going longer than the last shutdown, 35 plus days without a paycheck, and now on top of that, being threatened that, oh, we might not pay you anyway.
No, is it legal right now? The answer is no.
Iris Halpern is an employment attorney. She says the law that ensures back pay for federal workers during a funding lapse was signed by Trump in 2019.
Donald Trump is trying to push the boundaries in many ways. Even though the law was passed under his first term, I think what he's saying is you don't know what I'm going to do in the future.
Miles says his future is uncertain too. He's still waiting to be furloughed, and not knowing whether he'll be paid is only making things worse.
We wish we could base and plan our lives around laws passed by our government, but seemingly a lot of things are up in the air that we thought were written in ink and very secure.
Now, Iris says if the Trump administration goes back on that legislation, federal workers will have to go to court to fight for their back pay. But that takes a lot of time and a lot of money that Miles says many federal workers just don't have. Live in studio, Shalima Maharaj, 9 News.
Staffing shortages are leading to problems around the country during this government shutdown. Tonight, flights are delayed at airports in Nashville, Boston, Dallas, Chicago, and Philadelphia. And it could get worse as the shutdown drags on. Denver was among a handful of airports yesterday reporting delays because of staffing. FAA data shows Denver is short dozens air traffic controllers even before the shutdown. The tower at DIA should have 41 controllers. At the end of last year, there were 32, with 6 in training. Their national labor union says the shutdown is not helping the situation at all.
Most of us are working 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. We have 1 day off a week, 4 days off a month, and that's been going on for quite a long time. Now we're doing all of that without any paycheck.
FAA documents show the 35-day government shutdown that started in 2018 resulted in large hiring and training delays. The union says we could see that again at a time when air traffic controllers are pushed to their limits.
Colorado's ban on conversion therapy for kids was challenged before the Supreme Court today. Christian conservatives say free speech rights should allow therapists to try to change the sexual preference or gender identity of minors. Democrats in Colorado banned it because medical experts say it's harmful pseudoscience. The conservative majority on the Supreme Court appears ready to rule against Colorado. Democratic Attorney General Phil Weiser, fresh off a flight back from Washington tonight, sat down with me and did not seem optimistic that Colorado will win.
Now, this court has shown us before they're willing to go far outside their headlights. They're not as sensitive around LGBTQ equality as I wish they were. So we're going to have to wait and see. What I can say is I'm proud of the argument we made, and I'm going to keep fighting for equal rights for all and to make sure that the LGBTQ community in Colorado knows that we've got their back.
It sounds an awful lot like you tend to agree with the legal observers who think you're going to lose. They're going to rule against you.
We knew going into this case that this Supreme Court, we just had this recently in a 303 creative case where it was about protecting civil rights protections. In that case, it was a similar type of Pandora's box.
Colorado could be headed for its third recent loss before the Supreme Court on similar cases involving free speech and religious liberty. The Masterpiece Cake Shop case, the baker who didn't want to make custom cakes for same-sex weddings. 303 Creative, a website designer who didn't want to make wedding websites for same-sex couples. And now this free speech challenge to Colorado's conversion therapy ban.
Is the law in Colorado hostile to religious conservatives?
Not at all. Colorado's law has an exemption. If what you're engaged in is religious guidance, ministry, the law doesn't apply to you. The law applies to people who are professionals, who get a license from the state and who have an obligation to provide a standard of care that's legitimate. The Supreme Court may reach to get to some result here, but it's, to my mind, a dangerous move because it's not grounded in facts, and it would open up this Pandora's box, allowing people to say, I'm going to practice whatever type of medicine I want because I've got some First Amendment interest in doing so.
So, I mean, you're not a legislator, you're a litigator, but do you see, based on what you heard from the court, that there would be a way for Colorado to achieve its aims through a slightly different methodology than what we currently have if they don't like the current setup?
We're going to work really hard to try to do that. The First Amendment doctrine, if they go that way, would be to say we've got to show under strict scrutiny, which is a demanding standard, that the regulation can be justified. If that's where the court lands, we're going to do our very best to justify as much protection as we can, because we know that LGBTQ youth are harmed by this practice. We want to make sure they're protected. We're going to do whatever we can to make that happen.
The Supreme Court's decision in this case could take a while. It's expected by the end of June next year.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Come on, that's good, isn't it?
I love that.
Tonight was the last 6:30 sunset of the year. Dang, we're not going to get another one this late until March. Kathy Sabin is here with a quick look at the forecast.
There are few less convincing things I've ever heard, Kathy, than Kim Christensen saying, hello, darkness, my old friend.
I've never heard anything like that out of her mouth. Normally, everything is so very bright and positive.
I was trying to sell it. I couldn't.
No, you tried your best. I thought you did well.
Well, I will give you a sunny day tomorrow and a warmer day tomorrow and quiet, warm weather for the rest of the week, just to kind of balance out that last 6:30 sunset. And tonight, that big, bright, just past full moon is rising over the city, and you should be able to see it. Temperatures have cooled back to the 40s and lower 50s after a day with highs in the low 60s. We're a little bit warmer than we were at this point last night, but we're certainly not dealing with the fog, the stratus, the showers around the foothills, and really just a calmer weather pattern. Complements of high pressure building in and the showers pushing south. Other than a few high clouds to the south and east of Denver, a really nice stretch of weather coming up for us. So we'll bottom out in the low to mid 40s. Coming up, we're going to take a look at that extended forecast and how long the sunshine and 80s streak will last. Plus, there's a storm that could bring mountain snow. Details on that just ahead.
Loveland City Council is just going round and round at this point. 1 week after closing the city's only homeless shelter for adults, tonight they held a virtual meeting as they continue to discuss what's next.
9 News reporter Janelle Finch is in Loveland, and Janelle, the virtual meeting didn't keep people from speaking their minds about this situation.
City Council opened up 1 hour for public comment during tonight's meeting. Some praised the mayor's actions for showing up for the homeless community, but not everyone. Some even called for her resignation. In the 1 week since Loveland's only overnight adult shelter closed, dozens of people were forced out onto the streets. Some set up tents outside City Hall. Cold, wet weather this week prompted the mayor to open the doors of City Hall to let people sleep inside. Most of the people who spoke tonight praised her for the move.
I support the actions that Jackie took in an urgent situation. 45 degrees and raining is an ideal situation for hypothermia.
I really want to thank Mayor Marsh for having the heart to open the doors on a absolutely miserable night. These people that were camped out there were not prepared for this since they were kicked out, a few days before. They didn't have the equipment to, survive the elements.
Other members of the public made sure to let the mayor know they weren't happy with her actions.
Mayor Marsh did not open her door. She opened City Hall's door without authorization from the city manager.
What I would like to point out that the best way to solve it is not for our mayor to take matters into her own hand.
The city says it issued a temporary 30-day permit for the Loveland Resource Center to act as an overnight shelter. That's the short-term solution. In the long term, City Council is set to discuss what that may look like in an executive session. If there's interest of the council to move that forward, that's when they'll bring it to a public meeting. Live in Loveland, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
The former town administrator and clerk of Agular in the southern part of the state is out of custody tonight after being charged with a number of serious crimes. CBI, along with the USDA Office of Inspector General and the Los Animas County Sheriff's Office, announced today that Tyra Avila is charged with theft, cybercrime, embezzlement of public property, forgery, and fraud by check. She served in her role for 17 years before resigning in September of 2024 after being accused of diverting more than $26,000 in public funds to her personal bank accounts. Avila posted a $15,000 bond after turning herself in to law enforcement. Her next court date has not yet been set.
A deputy in Teller County is facing criminal charges. Chase Mikesell also happens to be the son of the sheriff there, who is also a Republican candidate for governor, Jason Mikesell. Details are limited at this time, but we know State Patrol arrested the jailed deputy at the Teller County Sheriff's Office after he crashed his car in Divide back in early August. Following the arrest, Chase Mikesell was taken to Manitou Springs for a breathalyzer test where he blew nearly twice the legal limit. In addition to the DUI charges, troopers also found a gun in his glove box at the time. Chase Mikesell is expected to be in court next week for his arraignment, where he'll plead guilty or not guilty. Sheriff's Office says he's still on the job, and if he's found guilty, then action would be taken. The Teller County Personnel Manual says no close family relationship can exist between county employees if one relative would supervise or discipline another. But the Sheriff's Office told our sister station in the Springs that that policy doesn't apply to them.